Yokoso peeps, welcome to another episode of This Week in Japan. I'm your host, OzzyAwesome. So just to let you know, this will be the last episode of This Week in Japan for this season. So for those of you who do like This Week in Japan, Season 2 will be coming at the end of the summer. But for the summer I have something new planned, a really cool idea, which I'll be explaining at the end of this video, so stick around for that. In terms of Patreon, I have 25 people supporting my channel, so thank you very much. Also, the song of the month is out and I hope you guys liked it. Let me know if you have any future requests for other songs. So for those of you who don't know, I also do something called Song of the Month. This is a little clip of the last one I did. So every month I choose a Japanese song, I sing it in Japanese, I provide the English translation and in Romaji and also in Japanese, and also do a funny music video, and yeah, do a little explanation about the artist as well. So if you are interested in seeing the full song of the month and getting your little mini souvenir from Japan every couple of months, then please check out my Patreon page. And for the final piece of channel news, I want to talk about my t-shirt contest. So last month I held a contest where I asked people to design a t-shirt for me or for my channel, and these are the entries I got. So now it's voting time. Please take a look at all the entries and let me know which one you like the best. Maybe choose the top 3 you like and leave it in the comment section below. Whichever design gets the most votes, I'll make into a t-shirt. I'll send the person who designed the t-shirt a free t-shirt and a big bag of Japanese snacks. And if enough people are interested, I'll also put the t-shirt up for sale. Alright, that's it for channel news, so let's get back to the show.
Giddy black ass, big tits, want cash, fuck bitches up while they twerking that pussy, cut, dick like an elephant.
I went on a Tokyo day trip to a place called Nokogiriyama with my friend Megan. In my next video, I'll be showing the full Nokogiriyama traveling video, but in this video, I'll be focusing more on Megan, her life, her interview that I had with her. So let's meet Megan. Yokoso peeps, it's Oz. Welcome to another episode of Gaijin Life. Today I'm here with
Maggie K.
And I wanted to talk to you about your life because she has a very interesting life. So first of all, before we get into Japan, please tell me your background in Toronto.
So okay. I went to school in Toronto, but like I was actually born in Montreal.
Oh, okay.
And my family moved around a lot, and I lived in like a different town every other year as a kid. So I say Toronto is my home because that's where I always go back to. I always go back to Toronto. I went to Ryerson for new media, which is difficult to explain. But it was a fine arts degree, so I have a bachelor's of fine arts with like more computer tech, robotics, projection. It's very techie art. That's what I studied, was techie art. So after university, I got a job at the University of Waterloo doing like e-learning development. After that job, I moved to New Zealand.
Okay, so before we get into New Zealand, one thing that's different about you compared to other people that I talk to is they've gone straight from their home country to Japan. But you've been in a lot of different countries.
I've been in a few, yeah.
So what's the first country besides Canada that you lived in?
Besides Canada, I lived in the US for 2 years when I was a kid. Like I said, my family moved around a lot.
Right.
Most of that was in like southwestern Ontario. But we did use, we lived in Jacksonville, Florida for 2 years.
Okay, how was Florida?
Not a super big fan of Florida or the US. The second place I ended up going to was Germany.
Okay, how old were you?
I was 17.
Okay, so in high school.
Yeah, I had just graduated high school, and I was doing this as like a gap year. It was a Rotary Youth Exchange, and I lived with 3 different host families and spent the year going to a German high school. What
made you go to Germany? Like, was there any choice, or you just wanted to go to Germany?
It's not really a choice. Like, Rotary Youth Exchange, you get a choice in the sense that you get to tell them what countries you like.
Okay, and they'll pick for you.
And then they put you where they can, and they select where you go.
So it was a good experience?
Yeah, it was good in the fact that like I got to Europe and I got to travel around a little bit and go on tours and see, you know, Central Europe. I knew very quickly Germany wasn't the right place for me and that I would not stay in Germany.
Really?
Hard to pinpoint. It's something about the German culture. You either really get it and you can really identify with it and you can just like it's instant, or it's like the complete opposite, and there's just like there's nothing. And I was on that side of it.
You came back to Toronto and then
Yeah, I started school.
university,
And
right?
yeah, while in school, I did a youth exchange, or not a youth exchange, just like a student exchange
with Ryerson.
With Ryerson,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Where did you end up getting placed?
I went to Singapore.
Okay, and was that also your choice or just random? Or?
It was more of my choice.
Okay.
Than the Rotary Exchange.
And what did you think of Singapore?
Love Singapore.
Okay, really?
Love
Everything? What did you...
Everything about Singapore. I love Singapore. It's like this big city, and it has like great food.
Okay.
And as a student, like it can be really expensive, but as a student living in dorm rooms and spending a lot of time like eating on campus,
you save money.
Yeah, I went there for 5 months with $4,000. And I could travel every other weekend out of country. I went to Thailand 3 times in 5 months.
Wow. Okay.
And then I also took a trip to Hong Kong, and I took a trip to Cambodia and Vietnam and Indonesia and Malaysia. And
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Came back.
And then I worked for the University of Waterloo for 1 year.
Okay.
It was a 1-year contract.
And then you decided to leave Canada again.
Then I went to New Zealand.
Okay, New Zealand. Okay.
With a working holiday visa.
Okay. Was it difficult to get that visa or?
No.
No.
Very,
Pretty
very easy.
Okay. So it's an easy process.
It was 100% online, and typically it gets approved very quickly. Like my friends, like it got approved like the next day.
And you spent a one whole year in New Zealand. How was the experience?
New Zealand's fun. Like I really like New Zealand. The problem I had with New Zealand is that it's very country.
Okay.
Like even Auckland, like even New Zealand's biggest city isn't really that big of a city.
Right,
I think like when I retire, I would love to move to New Zealand again.
Okay.
And just like have this wide open field, and I'll have my own sheep, and I can, I'll do that.
So after you finished New Zealand, you came back to Canada. And did you want to work in Canada, or you decided I really want to go somewhere else again? Or?
My original plan was like to not go back to Canada and to go straight from New Zealand into teaching somewhere in Asia.
Okay, so you wanted to be an English teacher?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you decide that? Because it's very different from your field, right?
Yeah. It happened when I was in New Zealand, in Wellington. Just at the hostel, I was talking to a girl from Germany.
Okay.
Just about Germany, and she was just traveling Southeast Asia, and so we were just connecting about the two different things. When I start talking about languages or like linguistics or things like that, it's like you can tell I'm very passionate about that, and you can tell I get excited when I talk about that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So she's like, why don't you try teaching? I like the idea of teaching, and I actually had a conversation with my dad, like, should I go back to school to get like a teaching license? Or should I just get a TEFL? I would be going back to school full-time for 2 years, spend tens of thousands of dollars. And my dad's like, for what you want, just get like a TEFL certificate.
Yeah, because you want to teach abroad anyway.
Yeah, so I want to teach English.
Okay.
But I also want to teach at a public school. I didn't want to teach at like a conversation school.
Right.
And I want the other like parameter, I guess, is that I didn't want to go through a private company. And to do that in Taiwan, I would have to be a licensed teacher in Canada. They don't accept TEFL as like good enough.
Oh, okay.
I ended up going back to Canada, and that was when I decided I'd apply to Japan.
Okay.
And apply for JET.
JET program. So is that what got you interested in Japan then?
I was actually interested in Japan back in high school.
Okay. So what about Japan interested you?
I got really into music.
Okay.
Even in high school, I was like really into music and really into specifically like hard rock music.
Okay.
And at that time, like in my regular like alternative rock magazines, they had little featurettes on J-rockers.
Okay. So for example, who were some of the people you listened to?
The first band that I got into was Durand Gray.
Okay.
That was the first one I listened to.
Yeah.
I really stuck with the Gazette. And I actually saw them
Visual
live.
K
Yeah,
kind of, right.
I saw them in Toronto last year.
Oh, really? They came to Toronto?
When they did their world tour, and it was actually so good.
So, what did you think of the JET process? Was it hard? Was it fun? Do you think it was effective?
It was super easy.
Super easy. Because
Like,
a lot of other people say it's so difficult,
like,
right?
People are like, oh, JET's so difficult to get into, and it's super competitive, but I thought it was super easy and super straightforward, and like everything on the application is very basic. They don't ask you any difficult questions. If you think it's difficult, you probably just don't know yourself very well.
Just to know, I was also a JET teacher, so that means I'm smart and I know myself as well. Just saying. Just like, you were placed now in Kyushu, right?
Yes, I am.
Is that something you wanted, or?
Nope.
No. Okay. Where did you want to be?
Basically, I wanted a little mountain village because I love mountains.
Right.
Within a 2-hour train ride from Tokyo.
Okay. So because
I'm a city girl, so I need that city fix. But I like the idea of being up in the mountains, not only because I like mountains, but one of the perks of JET is that small community.
From 1 to 10, what would you say is your Japanese level?
2.
2. Okay. And I know you're a current teacher, so I don't want you to get into any stuff that will get you in trouble.
Okay.
But I want to know, what is something that you appreciate about JET? Like something that really you think is an amazing thing that JET offers? And one thing that you could kind of live without. You don't hate it, but I mean like something that's kind of like difficult about being in the JET program.
I think the best part about JET is, like I said, is like being able to like get out into the communities a bit more. You know, being that one, you know, foreigner. Well, technically there's 2 of us in the town. Okay. But I'm the only one at my BOE. Okay. So it's like people come up to me and like everyone knows who I am already, and
so like a celebrity in the town.
Kind of, but it's like a celebrity that no one cares about.
Okay. So they know you, but they don't really.
They see me and they know who I am and what I do, and they just kind of like, yeah, that's Megan. It's really nice with JET is that you get that very real experience, and you get
real Japan.
Yeah. It's not that tourist centered Japan. Right. It is that daily life, and that's why I keep moving to different countries. I don't just travel them. Is that I like the idea of like the daily life. Probably the most frustrating thing is that you are in fact an assistant. So if you do have ideas, I did a video that I mentioned this in, but it's like you don't always get to put in your own ideas, and
because you're assisting, not running the class.
So a lot of times, like, I might not even know what the class is about when I walk in. You do get out of the loop, but sometimes you can get some teachers that are very willing to let you contribute a bit. So it's a bad thing in the sense that you don't know what you're going to get. And whether you're going to be sitting in, you know, the teacher's room for the majority of the day, or you're going to be able to do some lesson planning and really get in there. And
that was my problem when I was at JET. I was most of the time in the teacher's room.
You do spend a bit of time in the teacher's room, but
what do you like about Japan so far?
I don't know. I feel like that's a difficult question.
Okay. But the lifestyle is okay?
Yeah, like everyone asks, like, you know, is it difficult? And I'm like, not really.
Okay. It's easy. It's easy to live here, right?
It is. I think especially if you come with JET, because they do help you out. JET, they kind of like handhold you. There's a lot of orientations.
What's the best part of Japan you've traveled around?
I haven't actually seen too much of Japan.
Okay. This is your first time in Tokyo?
Yeah.
Right? So, okay.
It's taken me a year to come to Tokyo.
Okay.
But so far, I think my favorite part that I have been to is Nagasaki.
Okay.
I actually really, really, really love Nagasaki. Nagasaki is a city, but it's also like built up into the mountains. Like it's this like
okay.
cascading thing, and there's there's this great port area. Woo. Okay. Dragonfly.
Right.
Port area. Woo.
What place in Japan do you definitely want to, like, on your bucket list? What's the place in Japan you definitely have to see?
The 2 places that I can think of right now are actually the 2 places that I am planning trips to right now. In October, I'll be going to Yamanashi Prefecture. Yamanashi is like the north side of Fuji, so you get the Fuji, and then you have the rest of the mountains, lots of forests, wine. Like I like wine. I'm gonna like do a day in the vineyards.
So wine country. And what's the second place?
Ogasawara.
I've never heard of that.
Ogasawara Shoto. Islands that are 1,000 kilometers south. There's swimming with dolphins there. There's whale watching. There's sea turtles. It's basically this big nature preserve kind of place. But I think it'd be really cool because I've already been to Okinawa. And I'm thinking about doing that for my winter break because I don't feel like leaving Japan, but I also am not going to deal with the cold.
Do you think you'll live here long term, or do you have another country in mind? Or do you want to like just settle down in Canada? What do you want to do? What do you think?
Hitting my 1 year mark in Japan has just like brought all these things, these thoughts and feelings, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and I don't know if this is the right choice, and so like right now I'm happy in Japan.
Okay.
And
you're staying another year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll be here at least for another year, and I don't really know. It's like I like Japan so far, at least. Like the thing is, I probably wouldn't go back to Canada though.
Okay. So let's say you decide to leave Japan. What country would be next on your list?
It could be still Asia. Like I said, one of my original ideas was to teach in South Korea.
Okay. So
I'm like, maybe South Korea, but I haven't been to South America yet, and I would really love to live in Chile. Another country that's always been on my list is Georgia.
Georgia, okay, near Russia, right?
Yeah.
I want to just finally end with something like kind of like the lightning round. Just answer whatever you think of.
I'm gonna be so bad at this.
Don't worry about it. Whatever that comes to your mind. Let's start with, what's your favorite Japanese food?
Takoyaki.
What's your least favorite Japanese food?
Natto.
Okay, I had a feeling you were gonna say that. Okay, what's your favorite, since you like music, what's your favorite Japanese band right now?
Salu. He's a rapper.
Okay. In terms of entertainment, do you have a favorite Japanese movie or drama?
As cheesy as they are, I enjoyed the live-action Nana movie.
Oh, okay, with the Mika Nakashima. Okay, do you like any animes, or you're not? You said you're not a big fan, right?
I kind of stopped watching anime back when I was a kid. Like when I was little, I watched Sailor Moon, and I watched Pokemon, and I watched Card Captors, and I loved those. But from like mid-teens onward, I haven't really watched too many.
Okay. And do you have a favorite Japanese author or book or anything? What's your favorite Japanese word?
I don't necessarily have like a favorite word or an interesting word.
Yeah.
What I like and like my favorite part about studying Japanese is learning kanji.
Okay.
And the unintentional poeticness of Japanese, how weather, the kanjis for weather is heaven spirit.
Yes, heaven spirit. Thank you. Yeah.
You know, I'm like.
Yeah. Oh, you like the combination?
Yeah. I'm like.
Okay.
That's cute, and like the crater, like I've been looking at like hiking volcanoes.
Okay.
So for crater, it's fire mouth, and I'm like, that's funny.
Kinda
a volcano
cute, right?
is fire mountain.
What's your favorite Japanese pastime? Whether it be like green tea ceremony or karaoke or I don't know, wearing a kimono or.
I'm gonna try some fan dancing. One, it's pretty, and two, I do know that it's near where I live. I just haven't figured out how to get into it.
So we're gonna go exploring this area, so make sure you're watching some of that. And your channel name, Maggie K. Right?
Maggie K.
I'll put the link in the information section below, so please check her out and subscribe and whatever. Right? Watch your videos
cool
and stuff.
Things and
Lots
stuff,
of good stuff about
it's
life in Kyushu and Jet and stuff.
Countryside.
Yeah.
And finally, the big news of this summer, I'm going to be doing something called What's the Point? It's just a regular dartboard, felt kind of bored, but I printed out a map of Chiba, and I will be throwing a dart. These darts, I was gonna get a pointed dart, but I couldn't find a dartboard that was in my budget, and also I didn't want to make holes in the wall just in case, because I don't want to get in trouble for my apartment. So these are magnetic darts, but they do the trick, so like, there you go. So wherever it lands other than water, I will be going. And I'm gonna start with Chiba, so everything that's in this black outline is Chiba. So the dart will tell me what the actual point is, where I'm going, and when I get there, I'm gonna try to figure out what's the point of going there. So it's kind of like a double meaning. Pretty smart, eh? Now, as much as I'd like to take credit for this idea, it's actually based on a Japanese TV show. I think it's called Darts Tabi, which means Dart Trip. But I think my title is cooler, right? So look forward to that coming very soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up if you like this video and share. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my videos, because my videos are awesome. OzzyAwesome. Take care and see you next time. Peace.